All right. We will talk about these storms coming on through. So far, I'm not seeing anything severe. All those things that you see there are special weather statements. Let's see. Get this going. Okay. Get the TikToks going here. Oops. And as always, feel free to ask a bunch of questions. And I will get to those in just a moment. We have sound. I'm not good at the sound thing, apparently, but here we are. I get the computer at the right angle. Oops. There we go. That's a lot better. Again, so far nothing severe, but definitely heavy storms coming through with a lot of rain. It is very, very humid outside. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that works out a little bit for everyone. 1 second. Okay, just needed a little more AC. It is a little toasty, a little humid out today. Okay, so basically what we have right now are strong showers and thunderstorms. There's nothing severe yet. Again, all those boxes that you see with kind of the tan beige box going on there, that is called a special weather statement. And I can click on those to get a little bit of information. So as you can see here, this one's for Shiawassee, Saginaw, up through Bay and Midland counties. That will be in effect until 3:15. And this is for 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-size hail. So 60-mile-per-hour winds are about the threshold for severe thunderstorms and 1-inch diameter hail. So pea-size hail, 40-mile-per-hour winds, that's a good storm, absolutely, but it's not severe per that severe threshold. So those storms are cruising through Lansing right now. We have them going through Saginaw, Bay City, over toward Quantico, and eventually it'll go up into the thumb by Caseville, Sand Point. And some of them are going through the Flint, Grand Blanc areas as well. And I know Grand Blanc especially, we can be a little nervous sometimes because of our tornado we had back in late February, as well as all the tornadoes we've had this year, which has been a lot. I think we're at 7 for the state of Michigan. So again, these storms, not a huge deal right now, but something I would pay attention to. So we can zoom in a little bit and take a look around. So this is highlighting the Detroit Metro. You can see Sterling Heights. We can see up toward Flint, Grand Blanc, Fenton as well, and down through areas like Howell, Brighton, Ann Arbor. So good couple of storms coming on through. And so we can see the wind, right? We like to see what's going on with that. I can switch it over to velocity, and we got a nice little burst of wind right now that's going pretty much right toward the White Lake radar. This will be just east of Heartland Township, north of Milford. You can see that green blob. And this is very close to the radar site. So with it being close to the radar and the angle the radar faces up, that's still pretty low to the ground. So that is likely going to be translated down to the surface. In fact, I can drag out the radar site here. Yeah, so we're looking at like 300 feet. That's pretty much surface level winds. So we'll watch out for some high winds going through White Lake, maybe eventually over toward Clarkston and Waterford Township. And of course, that means, eventually Dixie Highway up along I-75 as well. And as always, feel free to let me know what you're seeing. It helps me a lot having you be my eyes and ears. But there's also a lot of thunder and lightning with this storm. So this is a pretty powerful cell. And I wouldn't be surprised if this actually gets a severe warning here eventually over by Oxford, Ortonville, Clarkson, Brandon, Lake Orion, areas like that. So let's switch it back over to regular radar mode, what you're used to seeing. And again, there's a lot of thunder and lightning with this. There's a lot of water in the atmosphere right now. What we can do is there's this fun thing called precipitable water, also called PWATS for those of you who have heard our nerdy, whatever you call it, verbiage sometimes. So basically, what precipitable water is you have a column from the ground all the way to the top of the atmosphere, and we can figure out how much water is potentially in that column. And not to say all of it gets rained out, but a decent amount of it can get rained out, especially if you have wind feeding more moisture up into that area. So some of the precipitable water is over 2 inches, which is a lot. And that means that we can have some prolific rainfall rates. And notice there's another cell over Clawson and Sterling Heights right now. So around the Detroit metro, I do think street flooding is going to be possible, likely around Ann Arbor as well. And for those of you that don't know, I spent my early childhood between Royal Oak and Clawson, so I know that when you get a heavy storm coming through, those side streets tend to have areas where they flood, and they go up on front lawns and stuff like that. So, even back in the early 90s, that was a possibility. So definitely a possibility now with climate change and stuff like that. Also, we have some pretty heavy downpours exiting the Lansing area, but they're still over Holt, Okemos, pretty much over MSU still as well. Perry, we have a heavy storm over us. I know, again, another town that had a tornado within the last year, so a little nervous sometimes there. But so far, again, these are not severe. They are just having special weather statements, 40-mile-per-hour winds, pea-sized hail, things like that. So let's show it here. St. Clair Shores, you will get some storms here, but not for about another hour or two or so. Same with Port Huron as well. I can zoom over a little bit further for you. Zoom out. There you go. And as always, knowing where you live on a map is huge because you need to know where you are in relation to the cities that are shown, because I just can't show every single township, city, village, things like that. So, those areas are on here. St. Clair Shores will pop up if I zoom like way in. Way in. There you go. But otherwise, you should know where you live. You know what St. Clair looks like, etc. So there we go. I knew it was going to get a warning. We now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Clarkson, Ortonville, Oxford. I'm going to turn off the special weather statements so we can see a little clearer. There we go. So that orange box is the severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for that wind blob I showed you earlier, and I will show it again here in just a second. But that is a severe thunderstorm warning, so that will eventually cross I-75, like I was saying earlier, going right through Clarkson. We'll have to watch out. I think it'd be a little northwest of Great Lakes Crossings, but there's a lot of areas with some, large trees. We have, it's very urban, but in the trees and the hills and stuff out there. So please be very careful and watch out for that. But anyway, the severe thunderstorm warning is going to go for 55 minutes, which means it goes up until 4 o'clock. It's for 3/4 inch hail, which is radar indicated, but 60-mile-per-hour winds. And since this is moving right over the radar site, I think that's going to be confirmed here pretty shortly. So I'm going to open up the National Weather Service chat really quick because I do think we're going to get some information on that. And pardon my tabs galore. I'm looking at a bunch of stuff today. See if there's comments coming in on Facebook. What are we looking at in Clio? You got just some regular storms coming through right now. And this is taking its sweet time, but hopefully it loads quickly. Oops, come on. I don't care what this says. AI, whatever. Okay. Okay. So nothing just as of yet, but they will post in there that, whatever they see. So this black dot is the radar site. That little blue circle in the middle is the actual radar. And that storm is 200 feet off the ground. Obviously, that's surface level. And switching it back over to wind speed for our Clarkson friends. There's that bright green blob right there. So that is why they've issued the severe thunderstorm warning. And just checking speeds at what this is moving at. This is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So we're watching the storm go right through Waterford and Clarkson. And thanks for the confetti rest. That's fun. Appreciate it. But again, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Notice there's a lot of thunder and lightning, and again, torrential rainfall coming down with these as well. So the atmosphere is obviously very humid. I'm sure you felt it. You know, I was talking to my brother earlier in our family chat, and he said like he was eating goldfish outside and they were getting soggy like the crackers. So it is a little humid outside today. And again, this doesn't necessarily mean run to the basement, but it does mean get out, get inside. No one should be outdoors in a severe thunderstorm warning. And it's general rule of thumb, if you can just stay away from the windows, just in case there is some flying debris out there from a 60-mile-per-hour wind. We could have some tree branches coming down, so it's just a really good idea to be inside, especially if you're in Waterford Township, Clarkson, and this is, again, you can see Dixie Highway going north, and eventually I think that's M15 through Ortonville, Oxford, and Lake Orion. This is all headed your direction. So this is for northern Oakland County, which is a very, very heavily populated area. And again, severe thunderstorm warning until 4 o'clock for 60-mile-per-hour winds. I can put a loop on and we'll zoom it out here just to show you what's happening. So there's that little guy strengthening, moving off to the northeast. And, we are seeing a little development on the south side of the storm as well, if you're catching that on the south side of this warning. Right about here, if you see that little, southern branch developing. So, honestly, I would say Waterford and Lake Angeles, Great Lakes Crossing, the mall area, Lake Angeles. Everyone just knows it as Great Lakes Crossing, right? Watch out in that area. Again, huge shopping area for sure. Also, a lot of people work out there. And this is moving off to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. And again, tons of rain coming down. So I would expect some street flooding in some neighborhoods. We also have some very heavy storms going right along I-69. And this is out of Lansing. So this is I-69 from pretty much the Hazlitt, the business exit there when you start getting into Lansing, all the way through Perry. So literally halfway through Shiawassee County. And I think that's about 20 miles of a intense downpour. Could be a little bit of small hail there as well. So Owasso, Bancroft, Vernon, watch out for that. Perry, you're already in it. But again, that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Oakland County. That black circle, again, that's the radar site. The radar cannot see straight up. So that's why there's a black circle there. There's nothing else to it. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a black circle because the radar can't see straight up. Kind of like when you turn your head, I can't see straight up right now. It's the same thing with the radar. That's it. I've had people accuse us of hiding government conspiracies and stuff. I'm like, it's a radar. But okay. And I'll move it over here because I keep forgetting my head's over there. So let's check some comments. Sand Lake and Huron County in the Thumb area. Good question. These will head your way, and you do have the possibility for some of these to be severe with those 60-mile-per-hour winds. So we'll watch that. I would say, there's a couple little developments out there right now, but the main line coming through, that's going to be the one that we'll watch out for. But notice, even ahead of it in St. Clair County, just to your south, there is a special weather statement issued there. Okay, back to the full screen radar. Here we go. Okay, TikTok. Romulus can definitely see some heavy thunderstorms coming through as well. And yep, Oxford, Michigan is literally in the scope in the warning here. If you see it kind of in the top right corner. I don't know who that comment was for, but I don't think it was for me. I'm going to focus on Michigan right now because we have this warning in effect here. But if things calm down a little bit, I can zoom out to Ohio. White Lake is getting drenched. Yeah, this is a big storm with a lot of rain coming down. And a lot of folks from Totally Black and White Lake. If you could safely get some pictures to me later after it passes, that would be very, very helpful. Oops. Okay. No tornadoes, but severe thunderstorm possibility, yes. And again, we have numerous areas, like look at Ann Arbor getting absolutely drenched right now with a huge thunderstorm passing on through. We do have another one for a different part of Oakland County down in Southfield over toward Royal Oak, Clawson, Sterling Heights. You can see those thunderstorms coming on through. But the focus is going to be this one right now, and it's starting to get a little bit of a bowing segment, so that's when it starts turning into like a backward C, like you see here, and that usually is indicative of some very high winds coming on through. So again, this is passing right over the radar site right now, but when the storm starts getting shaped like this, it means that there's high winds rushing out through it, and it kind of like it distorts the whole shape of the storm when that happens. So let's switch back over to velocity. We might not be able to see a whole lot because it's right on top of the radar. Yeah, so what's going to happen now is this is very simple, and this is a good example for what we look for. Yes, usually we say reds and greens, like right next to each other indicates rotation, but this is totally different because it's very rudimentary. So what you have is green means toward the radar. Red means away from the radar. It's that simple. That's it. So what's happening right now is it's not green and red together, meaning tornado. It's just green and red because it's passing right over the radar site. So that's what we're looking for there. So this area over Clarkson is going to start to turn bright red, and that's going to head over towards Oxford and Lake Orion, and maybe a little bit on the southern periphery here now as well too, since that was developing. But as that turns bright red, that's just going to mean wind is rushing out to the northeast away from the radar, whereas back over here it was toward the radar still, if that makes sense, hopefully. So since I can't see a whole lot on the velocity with the wind right now, because it's, again, right over the radar site, hopefully getting an observation from the National Weather Service here in a second. But again, this is that severe thunderstorm warning for Oakland County. And zooming out, there are some storms going down through Toledo. Those are not severe right now. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have is for Oakland County. And I'm thinking this is likely going to verify because, again, it's the radar location means everything. Sometimes we're really far away from the radar, so when the radar beam hits the cloud, because of the curvature of the Earth, we're like really high up in the air. This is ground level wind because it's right next to the radar. So I would definitely be indoors, away from windows, in Waterford Township, Lake Angeles, Great Lakes Crossing, Clarkson, and eventually up towards Oxford and Lake Orion as well. But if this keeps expanding to the south here, they might have to reissue this warning to cover a little more to the east, maybe even Oakland Township, Rochester Hills, Pontiac. We'll see, but there's a little bit of a southern development on this thing. So again, it's looping, going on through. It's right over the radar site right now. See if the National Weather Service chat is providing updates of observations. Latest messages. Special weather statement for everyone else in the Detroit Metro, it looks like, except downtown Detroit. And that is for generally 40-mile-per-hour winds, yeah. Okay, but again, lots of thunder and lightning as this is coming on through. So northwestern Oakland County is honestly just kind of getting rocked right now by this storm. It is a very strong storm coming through, and this warning was definitely warranted for sure. So other areas in the Detroit Metro, we do have some storms going into areas like Canton Township showing up on there. There's Taylor, Melvindale, and Trenton. So Trenton, Downriver, Riverview, Wyandotte, Southgate, not seeing a whole lot yet, but these storms are moving off to the north and the east. So I can zoom out and put a little loop on for you. And see how the storms in Ann Arbor are moving to the east, but they're moving pretty slowly, to be totally honest. This is a 1 hour loop. So we probably have the better part of 1 to 2 hours before this really gets into like the heart of Detroit. We're not moving too quickly, which also can lead to some flooding with the storm not moving super fast. Drops more rainfall, things like that. So again, this severe thunderstorm warning, excuse me, for northwestern Oakland County is in effect until 4 o'clock. 60-mile-per-hour winds and maybe some smaller hail coming on through as well. Usually when the atmosphere is like super, super warm though, I know there's colder air where the hail forms, but it's got to fall through all that warm air and it melts like really fast, especially when it's humid outside. So a lot of times hail does not verify with these. That's not to say it can't. It certainly can. But there's a lot of really warm, really humid air for this to fall through right now. Tennessee is like really far away, but you can keep commenting. I can't show that. Sorry. We're going to focus on Michigan right now. And again, Fenton right there, right in the middle. There's a couple other like garden variety thunderstorms coming your way after this one. Still going to have some heavy rain though. We do have some storms popping up in the Thumb area right now. Seaboing over toward Pigeon, Caseville. We're going to have some decent thunderstorms coming on through, some gusty winds, but I wouldn't call these necessarily anything to be super concerned about, but we'll keep watching them. Right now, though, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for the heavily populated area of northwestern Oakland County. Oh, I think I got some subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, just checking the National Weather Service feeds here to see if we have an observation of wind or anything. Not seeing it just yet. Check the comments. I think I got all those, so I think we are looking good. So again, we're watching out for Oakland County, and the whole Detroit metro is under the possibility of a small risk for some severe storms. So we'll have to watch how everything else develops as we go a little bit later on. But there's hopefully covering. I see a lot of folks commenting about all the cities I'm showing right now, so I hope this really helps. I hope it really helps. Maybe I should scooch this over because I think my head's in the way for the Facebook folks. That should help. And yeah, the phone is for TikTok because TikTok likes to play games and you have to like unlock things to go live, and I can go live on my phone but not my computer. Whatever. I wish it was all in one, but it's not because we can't make anything easy. So again, severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Oakland County until 4 o'clock, and not seeing too much going on yet. Let's see if we can put on some storm reports. I have storm reports on. Not seeing any. We got a little wind damage showed up at 1 o'clock in Indiana. So that's nothing showing up yet for observations in Michigan. And again, there's some storms in the Thumb. They're starting to develop a little bit more. This is a very poor area for radar coverage, unfortunately, because the radar sites are in Detroit and Gaylord. So what's that, like 100 miles each way? But you can see there's definitely some good-sized storms right along the shoreline of the Saginaw Bay. Caseville, Sandpoint, Pigeon, Seaboing, down through Quanticosi, and there's a lot of farm fields out there as well, so a gust of wind is definitely pretty easy to come by if those do develop. And we got a couple more showing up from Grindstone City, north of Bad Axe, over to the east a little bit. I believe that's Port Hope. I think it's Port Hope. My mind just blanked a little bit. But we're watching out for this severe thunderstorm warning down across the Detroit metro. And again, there are other storms that are not severe warned right now, but they do have special weather statements. So here's the special weather statement that is for the entirety of the Detroit Metro. That goes until about 4:10, and that is for 40-mile-per-hour winds with this line of storms that's going from Brighton through Ann Arbor, down through Saline, and that's moving off to the northeast as well. And that's for the whole Detroit Metro. So if you are in the Detroit Metro, regardless of what city you're going to comment, you are under that special weather statement. And again, knowing where we live in relation to other cities and on a map and what county we're in is just really paramount for severe weather coverage. There's like, 600 cities in Michigan, and labeling every single one of them off during coverage like this is just really unrealistic. So again, right now we're focusing on the severe thunderstorm warning going into Clarkson right now. So a good idea to not be outside. Severe thunderstorm warning should be taken very seriously. We just got an update, so let's take a look at velocity now that it's moving a little bit away from the radar site. And there's that high wind. So remember I said we'd see the reds get a little bit brighter, so that went through Clarkson and is now headed right for, actually it's a little bit to the east of the warning even, but Oxford, down through Clarkson. This would be Great Lakes Crossing, Auburn Hills, so Lake Angeles, Lake Orion, Oakland Township, up through Oxford and Lake Orion. Definitely a good idea to be indoors, and it's moving pretty quickly, so we don't want to be caught outside trying to get patio furniture down now. It's a little too late. Your safety is more important, so please head inside. And it's a good idea if you have like giant windows, please stay away from them. It's always a good idea just in case there's debris blowing around, and not like tornadic debris. I mean like small hail, tree branches, trampolines, garbage cans, things like that can blow around. So again, that bright red is indicating that we have a very high wind gust headed right for Oxford and Lake Orion. Not sure if any more cities will pop up. That's about as best as I'm going to be able to get it. Lake Angeles to Oxford and Lake Orion. And again, if anyone has pictures and videos, I would gladly take them. bradsugdonwx@gmail.com, or send them to me on my Facebook. Messages are always open there. I don't know if you can send that kind of stuff in TikTok or not, but possibly. So again, this is not tornadic. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for straight line winds coming through Clarkson, Lake Orion, Oxford. This is in effect until 4 o'clock for good reason. I'm going to see if the National Weather Service has an update on observed wind speeds or anything like that. I just asked them the question, so we'll see what they say. And again, thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. This is my new venture, my new everything. And again, this is for Oakland County. This is northwest of Detroit, right along I-75 through Clarkson, Lake Orion, Oxford. Time to get ready for some 60-mile-per-hour winds coming through, the potential for some small hail, tons of thunder and lightning, and some torrential rainfall. The rainfall rates are going to be very, very high with all these storms coming through. So especially in areas like Northville right now, we can go down here a little bit too. Northville, Plymouth, Livonia, Canton. I saw some people comment about Canton, South Lyon, Ypsi. We have very, very heavy rainfall coming through, and this will eventually go into Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield, Southfield. Notice this cell is still hanging out right over Clawson, and that's where like I said earlier, I lived in Clawson for a good part of my childhood. I have personally witnessed between Royal Oak and Clawson the street flooding that occurs, especially during heavy rainfall events. You get those ponding areas. You got to get the leaves and all that stuff off of those storm drains to get the water to drain out. So I'd be surprised if we aren't seeing some kind of street flooding somewhere around that area right now, and maybe off to the east as well. Also over toward Owasso, Shiawassee County, this storm is not severe, but it does have a special weather statement for 40-mile-per-hour winds. This is going to be headed into Durand, Lennon, Flushing, Montrose. It's over New Lothrop right now. So Flushing, you can see you are getting really close to seeing this, and eventually that'll be into Grand Blanc, Flint, Mount Morris, Clio, etc. And I do believe we just got another update on the radar here. This is getting right over Oxford and Lake Orion. Clarkson, you still have torrential rain coming down. Absolutely torrential rain coming down. So let's switch back over to velocity to see what our winds are doing here. And there's that pink blob indicating very high winds, and that's going right into Oxford and Lake Orion right now. And I don't know the name of that road. I don't believe that's M15, is it? No. M15 goes into Davison. Is that M25? M53? I don't know. Anyway, correct me, whatever the highway is from Oxford to Lake Orion, that's where it's going. And again, this bright pink area could easily be some 60-mile-per-hour winds. Lapeer Road, M24. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lapeer Road makes sense. It goes to Lapeer. So, Brad. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyway, that's the road between Oxford and Lake Orion. So it's not a tornado. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. Straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour are possible, or likely at this point, coming on through. Not necessarily run to the basement kind of situation. It just means get indoors, stay away from windows, and, just hopefully not have any issues as it comes through. But 60-mile-per-hour winds can cause tree damage, can cause power outages. So we'll keep a close eye, and we can also just check our outage maps at our various friendly utility companies. DTE, I don't know why Yahoo pops up on here. Don't judge me. I clearly did something wrong to have Yahoo pop up as my search bar. I don't know. I really don't know what I did wrong to have that bestowed upon me. Looks like we are seeing about 3,000 power outages on DTE. As of now, these reports can be a little delayed coming in. Consumers, view outage map. Oh my gosh. Sure, take your time. We have all day. Couple outages up near Midland and a few west of Jackson, but that is about it. 3,000 people also without power there. NWS reported 32 knots. 36 miles per hour. Okay, so a 36-mile-per-hour wind gust was observed with the storm coming through, so maybe the winds were just a little bit off the ground aloft, but this is still something to take seriously for Oxford and Lake Orion. But again, it's always better to not have it actually happen, right? We don't need power outages when it's hot and humid outside. It'll be much cooler tomorrow, by the way. I don't think anyone's going to need their AC tomorrow. We're going to struggle to hit 70, and there's going to be no humidity, so it's going to be beautiful. Look at all the thunder and lightning, though. Tons of thunder and lightning. Putting the reflectivity back on. We have just a very potent, very, there's just a lot of water in the atmosphere. So these are some very torrential downpours coming on through. We can see some of the... If I can find storm rainfall totals is what I want. So 1 hour rainfall accumulation for the areas that are in the bright green, that's about 3/4 of an inch. And in an hour, it's pretty good. 3 hour accumulation, this is definitely delayed a little bit, but we're starting to get up into the purples here. So purples, blues, and a couple oranges. That's getting to about an inch. Okay, so, definitely falling at a pretty good clip. And this is all estimated, by the way. This is just a radar estimate. Daily accumulation, that's not showing up at all yet. That's not going to show up till much later. Storm total accumulation, yeah, same thing. So we are getting a decent amount of rainfall, but hopefully we make it through this, you know, relatively unscathed. There's just a lot of water in the atmosphere right now as these storms come on through. And again, Flint, you can see Beecher, Grambling, Fenton up there, down through Novi, Ann Arbor, Redford Township, Detroit is going to have some very heavy rainfall come through too. And again, this is not like the severe weather that we've had this season. This is a very low risk. It's just there's a lot of water in the atmosphere. You can get some gusty winds when it's hot and humid out. So that's the primary threat is just wind today. Again, I think it's too warm for hail to make it to the ground without melting substantially. So I think small hail would be possible, but nothing more than that. Yeah, it's so humid. It's very humid. All right. Again, 36 miles per hour is what was observed at the White Lake National Weather Service office. Nope, not a tornado. Wilson, it is a severe thunderstorm warning. I was showing winds, and winds show up as red and green. Data feed, severe thunderstorm warning, still in effect until 4 o'clock. Okay, sorry, I just gotta check a few things to make sure I'm not spouting off wrong information. There we go. So good line of storms coming through, absolutely. Lots of water coming out of these for the Detroit Metro. And again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4 o'clock, though it might be allowed to expire a little early once it reaches the end of that warning. I can turn it back on velocity. We can see if we can pick up any other little blotches of wind coming through. So notice over here, you're probably noticing Durand. That is a nice little wind gust, but I think that would be a little above the surface, but it's just got like, you know, a little characteristic of wind rushing out right here. Little notch developing, so I might have to watch that a little bit. Notch over Durand. So you might see some funky cloud formations there, but nothing really concerning as of yet. And otherwise, we just have some. Yeah, I think the 40-mile-per-hour wind special weather statement's covering this brighter green just enough. And the reds are. Whoa, sorry about that. Wow. Okay. The reds and the pinks are starting to calm down a little bit around Oxford and Lake Orion, so it's still all along Lapeer Road. And, you know, definitely gusty and wind and thunder and lightning, and I'm sure it's dark outside, and I think the bark is just a lot bigger than the bite with some of these storms. So, again, this isn't, it's always something to take seriously, but this isn't, like I said, it's not run to the basement and take cover kind of stuff right now. Switch it back over to the rainfall mode. Clarkson, you're finally getting a break, but you got more coming your way, and now this is along. Oh man, could you imagine driving on 275 right now? Anyone who's watching this from the Detroit Metro knows 275 and rain like this is probably hell on earth. Since 275 can be hell on earth on a day when it's sunny and 60. So yeah, so 275, it's not severe. It's a very heavy torrential rainfall and some thunder and lightning. But this is not like not severe. But hydroplaning is a possibility on 96 through Novi, 696 from Farmington Hills to Royal Oak, and then 275 from Northville, Novi, all the way down through Canton to Romulus. Livonia, you're about to get in on this action as well. It's going to water your lawns and gardens very well. And again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Oakland County, Oxford, Lake Orion. You're kind of getting into the thick of it now. And I also want to keep an eye again up here. So Flushing, Swartz Creek, Lennon, we have pretty good storms coming through. And I mean, just look at that wall of rain that went into Flushing. I mean, you have nothing here, and then just torrential rain over here. That's I love weather. It does some cool stuff. But again, this virtual wall of rain, if you will, is going to generally move off to the northeast still. So we're going to slowly bring that in through pretty much the whole Flint area, Swartz Creek, and that includes Beecher, that includes Flint Township, that includes Burton, that includes Grand Blanc, that includes Davison. Did I forget anyone? Flushing. Yeah. And again, zooming out, we're seeing a little more development behind Lansing over in Eaton County, just a little thunderstorm developing there. A couple of thunderstorms over Kalamazoo and Portage, and I know that is a high area of concern because of what happened about a month ago with the tornadoes through Portage. But right now, these are just regular thunderstorms and downpours moving through along a cold front that's going to be cooling us off tonight into tomorrow. So the good news is you get to give your AC a break. Let it run wild today. You'll make up that money over the next couple of days. It's going to be cool and it's going to be dry for a couple of days after this. So again, there's the Detroit Metro, the one severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Oakland County for 60-mile-per-hour winds, but everyone else in the Detroit Metro is under the special weather statement. So basically, if you're in the Detroit Metro, 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail are possible with all these storms coming through. A little bit of street flooding is possible because the rainfall rates are very high, and there's a lot of thunder and lightning with these storms as well. So it could be loud, it's going to be dark out, but again, I think the bark is bigger than the bite with a lot of these, and you might see some funky cloud formations. Anytime it is very, very humid, you can have like weird cloud formations sticking down just because there's so much moisture. The clouds and the condensation forms at lower levels sometimes, and it can give us that funky look. But again, bark bigger than the bite. Looks scary, ends up not being that bad. Jackson is in the clear for now. We might have some storms coming through a little bit later on. Commerce Township, thank you. Yep, so just, these are, I would say, your stronger regular thunderstorms. We got that one severe warning. They measured winds of 36 miles per hour, so about 40 miles per hour at the National Weather Service White Lake office. Okay. Thank you for all the follows and everything. I really appreciate it. The wind stopped here. Clio Birch Run. Clio Birch Run. Yeah, I'm sure it looks pretty scary up there. We got storms in the vicinity. These are just regular thunderstorms with a lot of rain. And now we're seeing a lot more of this filling in across the thumb area. And let's put a loop on that because that did not look like that last time we were there. So if I hit play, there we go. Yes, that's filling in nicely. Again, these are just regular storms coming through too. Enough to ruin your beach day, but not do a whole lot other than that. Or your day if you're not at the beach. It is, what, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is anymore, guys. Okay. Otherwise, you can see the storms lifting off to the northeast right there. Going through Novi into the Detroit Metro. To unplug my phone, I think it's overheating. Sorry, TikTok folk. I'm going to unlock the thing that lets me do TikTok from my desktop, I swear. I just have to go live more often, apparently. So. All right, so again, I think that warning for northwestern Oakland County is going to be allowed to expire pretty soon, or it should be, because the cell it was warned for is pretty much out of the area. We got Lapeer off to the north there that you can see. I can get rid of this stuff on the side because it's just blocking space. Check the Facebook comments. Nothing in there. Cool. Over here. power is out in Sanilac County. Really? That's the Thumb Power Co-op, right? So I don't think that's DT. Oh wait, no, DT does go up there. Dang, just couple little power outages. We're up to 4,000 now in DTE, and we're down to about 2,000 for consumers, and just north of Midland and west of Jackson is where those are. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Okay. Ooh, I got a popular live heart notification thing. Because again, it's a game, right? I wish it would just let me go live without all these games. Okay. Thank you for all the follows. I appreciate that. And by the way, TikTok, I can only see like 6 or 7 messages at a time. So I'm trying. I'm sorry. Hearing Thunder. I think I covered these ones. I'm sorry. Close your outdoor umbrellas. Excellent advice. Close your outdoor umbrellas. Warren, thunder rumbling, wind picking up. Yep, and I bet the wind feels good because it is humid outside. Humid. In fact, why don't we take a look at that really quick? I have pivotal weather somewhere up here. I don't want you guys to see my login info, sorry. Okay, there we go. Facebook, I will switch you over to this in 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds, and then you can see what I'm seeing. There it is. Okay. Oops, come on. Why did it just go away? What did I do wrong? Why did it do that? Maybe we're not doing this, everyone. I'm sorry. Now maybe we are doing this. Okay. So dew point, really good way to measure humidity because the percentage, the relative humidity percentage literally changes literally all the time. And I don't like it. I don't like when people use it because it's just confusing. It doesn't make sense because humidity is always high overnight, even though it's not because we cool it off. And I can rant about this all day long. Anyway, this is showing humidity. All the purple blotchy areas, that is like tropical humidity. So, sorry, I'm not doing so hot. So some of those dew points are in the 70s. That is like soup. Notice though how we start kicking out the blues and we bring in the greens. That means the humidity is leaving us overnight tonight. And this is actually at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Lower humidity. So I can go back even further and scroll further out. And let's go look at the humidity by 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Look how dry that is. That is dry. We have dew points crashing down into the 30s in some cases. And that's dew point. That's not temperature. But when dew points are that low, that means it is really dry air. In fact, dew points in the 30s and 40s for June is really low. So it's gonna feel extremely refreshing. And the air temperature can never go below the dew point. So the air temperature can go down to the dew point, but not below it. Because when it hits the dew point, that's when dew forms, right? It makes sense, the dew point. So when the dew point's like 73, the air temperature can't go below that, and then you have it 73 with 100% humidity. When it's in the 30s, though, you can cool it off to like the 40s overnight, open the windows, not use the AC, save on that electric bill, so this is very exciting. It's going to cool off, in other words. Okay, back to the radar, though. Just had to get on my little nerd high horse for a moment. Oops, there we go. So we still have that warning. Again, it'll expire soon, but look at all the development moving through to the Detroit Metro right now. Definitely, probably getting dark, probably hearing thunder and lightning. Like we said earlier, someone in Warren said the wind is starting to pick up, and that's going to be the case up in Flint as well. You can see here, it's going to be the case up into the thumb, darkening sky, storms coming through, a little bit of wind, lots of thunder and lightning. Thunder and lightning not so prevalent around the cell in Flint anymore, though, so I'm leading me to believe that's weakening a little bit. But otherwise, some good gusty winds will be coming through Wayne County, so getting really close to Detroit right now. We can pause this and zoom in. There's downtown Detroit, Farmington Hills, Clawson, Royal Oak. So we're having some heavy rains come through there. Keego Harbor, Waterford Township, Great Lakes Crossing again. Oxford, Lake Orion, you're kind of getting like round 2 right now. Clarkson, you're getting round 2. And that severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. This is called Radar Scope, and I purchased it for desktop, so I'm showing you my desktop radar scope. I think it was $30. How's the thumb looking? Good question. Let's go up into the thumb. So we got 2 lines of storms, one on the east side of Huron County, one on the west side of Huron County. Not severe. We can put the special weather statements back on here because that severe thunderstorm warning should expire. Not even seeing a special weather statement up there anymore at this time. But most of the Detroit Metro is under a special weather statement for the next 26 minutes, which would be about 4:15 for 40-mile-per-hour winds. And again, we got heavy downpours going through Lapeer County and Flint County. Oh my God, Genesee County. So look how we have 2 lines basically, and I'll zoom it out here and get it all centered up and everything. Hopefully you can see about everything right now. And you got this one line, which is going from the Detroit Metro through Lapeer, western part of Sand Lac into eastern Huron County, and then the other one for western Huron County through Tuscola County, Genesee, Saginaw, Shiawassee. 2 lines of storms coming on through. And again, they're moving off to the northeast, so we will expect some heavy rainfall with some of these. Not necessarily training, which is like going straight along like a train goes on a railroad track, but they're not, moving perpendicular to the way they're forming either. So there is going to be some pretty heavy rainfall coming down. And again, some localized street flooding is for sure possible. Oh man, there's so many notifications popping up on TikTok. Again, I'm just going to be focusing on Michigan right now, but I can take a look briefly elsewhere. I got a couple things popping up down in northwestern Ohio, it looks like. Just a special weather statement down there. A lot of the activity currently up in my main coverage territory of Michigan. Alrighty. And we have another special weather statement issued for St. Clair, Sanilac, and Lapeer counties for 50-mile-per-hour winds. So that's borderline severe, and that would be that severe warned cell that has now moved on. Since we did not observe those severe winds, they opted to lower it down to a special weather statement, which is a very good call. I like that a lot. The National Weather Service is great. They always do a really great job. Alright, so there we go. Our special weather statements, our lone severe thunderstorm warning, which is going to expire any minute now anyway, and of course the downpours coming on through. And again, if you see cool cloud formations and you can safely get me a picture or you can safely send me some video, I will gladly take it. Love sharing that stuff for everyone to see, and it helps me, with forecasting. There you go. The severe thunderstorm warning has now officially expired 9 minutes early. Perfect. So again, I love videos and pictures, and send them to me and I'll share them around everywhere. It really, really helps out with literally everything. I am not seeing rotation with these storms. I am not. Tornadoes, not an issue. Right now, I am, I guess, physically located in Grand Rapids. I no longer work for television news, and my digital coverage is going to be focusing on the entire state of Michigan. So if anyone here is in the state of Michigan, or, I guess technically Indiana, Ohio, if you want to follow me, that would be amazing. Who knows? Maybe I'll expand to cover the whole Great Lakes. But as of now, this is me going forward. Digital everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever. Instagram. I don't know what's coming on. I don't even know if Threads is a thing. I'm probably not going to get on Threads. So this is it. If you guys stay tuned over the next couple of weeks, I am working on a full-blown launch of Brad Sugden Weather. Exciting. Exciting, exciting, exciting. So we'll see what happens, but lots of work. Again, special weather statements are in effect. Heavy downpours, things like that. Westland and Ann Arbor. I can zoom back down to the Detroit Metro more for you. Westland and Ann Arbor, you got some just showers coming through, but the line, as you can see here, is pretty much right through the heart of the metropolitan Detroit area. From Troy, Auburn Hills, down through Farmington Hills, Royal Oak, Clawson, Ferndale, Detroit itself. Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm warning for Canada expires in 2 hours. Wow. Ours are a little more concise than 2 hours. Goodness. And again, I-75 is just probably having very slow traffic on I-75. So anyone from Clarkson through Troy, goodness, that's like a 5-lane road anyway up there. Just be careful, don't hydroplane, please. I-75 and 475 and I-69 through Grand Blanc, Flint, Mount Morris, Flushing, and Swartz Creek. Also probably very slow going all the way up to Birch Run. Please don't hydroplane up there either. And then, of course, all the wide open back roads that you have through the beautiful Thumb region, including Ubley, Bad Axe, Cass City, Pigeon, Caseville, Port Hope, Harbor Beach. Don't hydroplane, please. So again, watching these storms come through, they're now in downriver. I know I had some folks watching from Trenton earlier. This is nothing you have to be super concerned about. These are just thunderstorms. What now, TikTok? Jeez. I'm gonna verify myself. Like I turned into a robot mid-broadcast. I don't know what this means. Man, verify yourself. Like I just turned into a robot. Anyway. AI can't have this personality. So here we go. Thunderstorms coming on through still. And again, if you can send me pictures and video, I would love it. Please do it safely. By no means am I expecting you to run out on your front porch into the wind, screaming, throwing bottles at the tornado. No, first of all, there's not a tornado. But you get the reference, right, from Twister. Like, just don't do it. Please. Is that zoom out good? I think I was doing it as you commented it. Huge rain moving in. Let's see if the other comments. Very uneventful at Holly State Recreation Area. Temperature dropped to 71. Hey, that's good. We like a temperature drop. You can't hear me. It says my mic, I can crank the volume. I just don't want to blow your eardrums out. Maybe that's a little bit better. Sorry, I don't know. I'm always having volume problems, aren't I? And if I crank the volume up and you had your volume on max already, I'm sorry, I probably did just blow your eardrums out. Ooh, someone drove through it. I bet that was eventful. So as you can see, we got Flint to Detroit right now. We got a line of storms coming through. There is no longer severe thunderstorm warnings. We just have special weather statements. So these are just your average thunderstorms with some strong winds coming on through, to be totally honest with you. This is not a severe weather outbreak. This is not, we're not waiting for a giant tornado to fall. We're just covering the storms for you here that are blowing through on a Wednesday afternoon. That's about it. The good news is, though, this line should be pretty much through the Detroit Metro by the time the rush hour really gets going. I know it's 4 o'clock and it's probably going already and probably not looking very pretty out, but it should continue to get better over the next 1 to 2 hours or 3, however long rush hour lasts, maybe until almost 7. So, alrighty. So again, not a huge deal. Storms coming on through. At this point, we can check the velocity. I'm just not sure we're going to see a whole lot more from these. There's definitely a little bit of wind out there for sure, showing up with these brighter reds that you see here. And, even the National Weather Service said, like, hey, winds 36 miles per hour. So I think we're doing pretty good here. Just a lot of thunder and lightning through the Detroit Metro right now. I'll probably give it like 5 or 10 more minutes, you guys, and then I think I'll hop off here. We'll see what viewership's doing. So when viewership tanks, that usually means no one cares. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm doing okay, though. I'm trying my best to answer questions as I get them, but I'm also getting questions from around the whole United States, and I'm, as you can see, focused on Detroit. I am using Radar Scope, yes. Radar Scope for desktop. It's my favorite. I love it. And I'm using Pivotal Weather for models that I will be incorporating into some more regular videos and live broadcasts that I do, and I have paid for all of these, so don't turn me into the digital police because I have paid for commercial access to all of it. So stop it. Just started in your small town in Lapeer County? Yep. I know Lapeer County well. I worked in Flint for 4 years. Capac, Goodland, Attica, Oxford, Lake Orion. There you go. Storms coming through. This box, by the way, is a special weather statement. It is not a severe thunderstorm warning. Sterling Heights. Yeah, you're about to get this good storm coming through that is over Royal Oak and Clawson right now. There's been a lot of rain in Clawson because that had a storm sitting over it for the better part of like 30 minutes earlier today. So I would not be surprised if there is some street flooding in some of these neighborhoods around here. Again, for those of you that weren't around, I lived in Royal Oak. I lived in Clawson. Granted, I was a small child, but this small child that was in those towns remembers the street flooding that occurs when it rains really hard outside. So it happens. And that's why I'm not saying it's a slam dunk possibility. It's a possibility that there is some street flooding in Clawson and Royal Oak. I don't know because I didn't live in all the other neighborhoods and cities in the Detroit Metro, but I'm pretty sure they're about all the same. And some standing water can be good. Grand Rapids, we're good right now. There was a couple little things popping up to our south. Over Kalamazoo and Portage, as you can see there. Not a huge deal, though. But as you can see from this zoomed out area, from downtown Detroit right now, right along I-75 through the Detroit metro area in Oakland County into Flint, and then you got like 2 lines in the thumb there. one on like the west side of the thumb, one on the east side of the thumb through Sanilac County and Huron County. Let's see if the rainfall rates are showing up a little bit better. So we are getting some good rainfall rates. This one's showing up in Macomb County is showing a little bit purple there. And purple on the bottom of the screen, yeah, you know, we're getting up to like maybe 3/4 of an inch in some spots, falling pretty quick. But this is delayed. This information comes in way behind. Huge wind and flooding in Royal Oak. If you can get me pictures or video of that flooding, I would really appreciate it. Safely, of course. But let's focus on that area. So there's Rochester Hills, Birmingham, Clawson, Royal Oak, Hazel Park, Southfield, Oak Park, Troy, and eventually Sterling Heights. We have very heavy rainfall coming down, indicated by all these reds, a lot of thunder and lightning around Birmingham, Beverly Hills, Clawson, Royal Oak, and Southfield right now. So I'm assuming 696 and I-75 are a hot mess. If I could pull up the traffic, I would. Maybe I can really quick. It doesn't want to work. There we go. Come on. Technology, go faster. Okay. Okay, one more. Woo! There we go. Layers, traffic. Yeah, Detroit is a hot mess right now. Every road is orange, red, and dark red. So these storms are causing traffic issues, and there's likely some street flooding out there, like I was saying. And again, if you could get me pictures or videos of any of this safely, always safely. Don't do it if it's not safe. I would greatly appreciate any pictures and videos you have to show me. This is also right through the heart of downtown Detroit right now. There's downtown Detroit. All the looping highways down there you can see. Very heavy thunderstorm right overhead. Hamtramck, and again, all along I-75 through Clawson. Sterling Heights, Rochester Hills. Flint, you just got regular old downpours and thunderstorms coming by. Not even that much thunder and lightning, to be honest. It's really out towards Capac and Goodland. And we have another special weather statement over toward Port Hope, Harbor Beach, Ubley, Minden City, and Forestville. By the way, if you've never drove the shoreline up here in the thumb, do it. It's so absolutely gorgeous. And there's some really cool county parks you can pull off in and like look at lighthouses and stuff. Super cool. Anyway, special weather statement for 50-mile-per-hour winds and hail about 3/4 of an inch. I think that would be nickel size hail. And a couple of special weather statements to the south still as well, making its way through the Detroit area, clearing out now downriver. It does look like the storm is starting to bow a little bit as it goes into Canada, probably why Canada has the severe thunderstorm warning on their side of the river. In terms of velocity here, you know, we are seeing this little pink bullseye. Not sure if that's making it down to the surface, but this little pink bullseye currently kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but that will eventually go, you know, probably just to the northwest of Little Yale, southeast of Brown City, Melvin, Speaker Peck. Some of those might be townships that are showing up. Pretty rural, but still people live there. And then off to the north, yeah, by Harbor Beach, Minden City, Ubley. In fact, I got permission to use all these cameras when I was in Flint. Okay. Ooh, Harbor Beach. Look at your camera. Let's look at that. All right. Look at that cloud coming into Harbor Beach right now. Goodness. I know you're not seeing it, Facebook. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. There. Harbor Beach. Look at that cloud coming into Harbor Beach. Like I said, though, bark bigger than the bite, right? So looks scary, not causing as many issues as you think. But this is the Harbor Beach camera. This is at the Harbor Beach Marina. I actually walked out there one time. Like, that is a long walk to the outside of that jetty. Holy goodness. In fact, I think the Harbor Beach jetty and marina is the largest freshwater harbor in the world, I do believe. Fun fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive, of course. You know, I did this when I was in Flint, too. It just turned green. And it always happened when I stepped in front of the green screen. But that was a cool picture. I want it to come back. We'll check later and see if it comes back. But that would be from this storm right here that has the special weather statement on it as it goes up through Harbor Beach. Your street's getting flooded in Royal Oak, but it's slowing down. That's good. And again, if you could get pictures, that would be awesome. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Harbor Beach camera. Oh, it's back. Yeah, so look at that cloud formation going through Harbor Beach. Might be a little bit of a shelf cloud. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, that was a cool update. I'm taking a screenshot of that because that is gorgeous, darling. Neato. Save. Anyway. TikTok folk, if you can see that. Oh my goodness, my screen is dirty. Sorry about that. Disgusting. We're also just getting some reflections too, so. But yeah, look at that cloud formation come through. Wow. So again, this is Harbor Beach. This is on Lake Huron in the Thumb in Michigan, and this is what the clouds look like rolling on through. Small little community, but beautiful one. There's a lot of cool places you can stop to. I took a drive down there after me and my friends rented a house in Caseville last year, and I met my boyfriend down. Actually, I met him in Lansing, but I was like, hey, I have 7 hours to kill, and I took like the whole scenic route. Super cool. Anyway, I digress. Harbor Beach is beautiful. Check it out. Little shout out to Harbor Beach. Your camera is awesome right now. Thank you for access to this. And again, so we got some cool cloud formations coming through there. See some comments. Looks like some redevelopment going out around Kalamazoo right now. No power in Bancroft. Okay. So we got some stuff to check up on. Again, that was the Harbor Beach camera. All cameras here. We got rain in Frankenmuth, but the Harbor Beach one is just taking the cake right now, guys. Goodness. We can go to Port Austin, which is at the tip of Huron County, and there's Port Austin. Just showing some rain coming down. We got the Canadian geese playing in the water, it looks like. But back to the radar. And again, this is the radar over Harbor Beach right now. Oops. That's not what I wanted either. The computer is getting a little bogged down. I think I'm testing the capabilities of the RAM. Yep, there is a little development over by Kalamazoo and Portage still. It's been raining there for a little while. Nothing super concerning right now, but we will watch out for that very closely because of all the storms that have been over there recently. And again, right now in the Detroit Metro, let's go back through there. So Sterling Heights to Warren to Detroit, Hamtramck. That's the line that we're looking through coming on by. Yep, so Warren, you're actually just under a special weather statement. click the right spot. There you go. For 40-mile-per-hour winds, thunder, lightning, and torrential rain. Did I leave my drink? Oh, man. 1 second. I need a drink. I'm talking a lot. What's weather coverage without some good old pop, right? Rochester getting hit decently. Port Huron, this is coming your way. It'll be up there pretty soon, don't worry. Just nothing as of yet. Again, though, this storm over Harbor Beach is looking pretty good on radar. Let's go back to the camera, right? I mean, that camera was just, that was next level. I'm going to switch it back over for YouTube Facebookies. There you go. So there's the Harbor Beach camera showing the dark clouds coming on through. It looks the same as when we looked at it last time. It might be a little delayed, but there's probably some good winds. It looks like the water is a little choppy in the marina. Oh, well, there you go. No signal. We'll check back with you later, Harbor Beach. No signal because the storm is right on top of them. And you can see those dark reds showing up. Okay, there we go. Right over Harbor Beach in the thumb right now. Just got issued a statement. Let's see where that would be at. Probably reissuing the one for the Detroit Metro, because that did expire in 3 minutes. Now it expires in 32 minutes. Wait, no, now it expires in 2 minutes. It might just be a little delayed showing up on my program here, but if you're talking about that one. Is it safe to swim in? No, you cannot swim during this kind of weather. I'm not sure where Ruth is. I'm sorry. We're in Michigan. Again, I'm getting a lot of comments about Tennessee. I just can't go that far away right now. Michigan is my coverage area. Actually, I think all the Tennessee comments are from the same person. Can I do Canton? Yes. Canton, you're all good. All good. There you go. Just some rain still. That's what the yellow and green like static noise is. It's just rain. All the storms are well over to your east, but the areas that are getting kind of slammed right now, if you will, are Sterling Heights, Warren, Fraser, East Point, Grosse Pointe Woods, leaving downtown into Hamtramck, and St. Clair Shores. I know I had some people watching from St. Clair Shores. There you are. Probably seeing a situation similar to Harbor Beach, right? Some intense dark clouds moving out over the water, I'm sure, with a lighter horizon over into the east. Now we have a severe thunderstorm warning. Alrighty. This severe thunderstorm warning is going until 5:15 p.m. for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Now this is for St. Clair and Sanilac counties, and this is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Let's go to velocity. Come on. And yeah, this is one of those little bullseye areas that we were watching out for earlier. The one that I was showing you between Brown City and Yale, and I thought some of these were townships. So yeah, we're seeing this bright red area show up on the radar. And this is going to keep moving off to the northeast. So that would be Port Sanilac, Forester. I think it's technically Forester Township. You can correct me if I'm wrong, though. Sandusky, Deckerville, over by Forestville. One of those is a township, Forestville or Forester. And I think Forester is a township and Forestville is a community. Yep, that's the alert you got. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sometimes it just takes a minute to show up in here. I apologize. And again, this is pretty much, the bottom tier for severe thunderstorm warnings. A severe thunderstorm warning is issued at minimum of 60-mile-per-hour winds. or 1-inch hail, or both. So we only have the 60-mile-per-hour wind threat, and to be totally honest, we have yet to see that actually verify. But the conditions are right for it to verify. Just because one storm didn't verify with 60-mile-per-hour winds does not mean the next one won't either. It's a good pattern to be in, to not have them verify, because we don't want to see damage in any of our communities. But right now, this is still something to take seriously. If you can send them on my Facebook page, which is meteorologist Brad Sugden, or bradsugdenwx@gmail.com. bradsugdenwx@gmail.com. Thank you so much. And I will have a much better way to do that shortly, because, like I said, I am launching Brad Sugden Weather in full very soon. It is a ton of work, but I think this is the future of weather. So I'm going to dive into it before everyone else does. So there we go. All right. Again, watch out Harbor Beach. Watch out for Sanilac County down into northern parts of St. Clair County. Harbor Beach still has no signal. There used to be like 9 cameras. I don't know where the other ones went. Caseville camera is absolutely beautiful, by the way. But I really wish the Harbor Beach camera would come back. So again, most of the storms are right along the Lake Huron shoreline now, or the easternmost part of Michigan. So that's the eastern thumb into the eastern part of the Detroit metro, leaving areas like downriver. But we can zoom back into the Detroit metro, because that is a obviously highly populated area. So there's Utica, Sterling Heights, Warren, Macomb Township. We're getting up into like New Baltimore. Mount Clemens is not showing up, but it's in there. Grosse Pointe Farms, Grosse Pointe Woods, East Point. There's a lot of points there in a row. Everyone else, though, Southfield, Hazel Park, Clawson, Royal Oak, you're finally calming down a little bit. Ortonville, Oxford, you're calming down. Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, you are all calming down as well. It's really just the eastern part of the thumb, even though we have a couple garden variety storms by Caro and Tuscola County. Kind of cool saying all these names. I worked there for so long. I miss it a little bit. And then Battle Creek, we got regular old storms coming through, downpours. I'm not even seeing that much thunder or lightning with them yet, but of course, you were like the bullseye for the severe weather a few weeks ago, but nothing right now for Battle Creek. Just focusing over in this area. Getting dark, yeah. These storms are very dark, especially from that Harbor Beach camera. Goodness. Oh, is it back? Oh, it's back. Facebook, I'm switching you over to. There you go. Look at that downpour in the distance. You can't see anything beyond that break wall. That is a wall of rain beyond the harbor. Holy moly. Like I said, there's 2.5 times the average amount of moisture in the atmosphere right now from all the humidity. And when you have a vertical column from the ground all the way up to the sky, well, top of the sky, that column is holding about 2.5 inches of water, which is a lot. Usually it's like an inch or less. So 2.5 inches, that's a lot of water that can potentially come out of that column and rain down. That's why we have such torrential downpours. And that's humidity not only at the ground, but we're talking like humidity thousands of feet up in the air as well. There's just a lot of moisture in the atmosphere right now. That is a wall of rain out in the distance. That's like sprinkling at your house and your neighbor is getting like ponding in their yard kind of rain. That is, wow. This is a cool camera shot, guys. This is a cool camera shot. So again, just absolute wall of rain there beyond the break wall. It looks like the end of the break wall is kind of in it a little bit. That is just a wall of rain. Absolutely crazy. Goodness. Be curious. We'll check back on that in a little bit. This one. Okay. So again, there are a lot of boxes showing up here. We only have one severe thunderstorm warning. The rest are special weather statements. So I'm going to turn the special weather statements off just to clear out the clutter here a little bit. Basically, if there's a thunderstorm in your vicinity, you have the possibility for 40-mile-per-hour winds. That's what the special weather statement is saying. Grand Rapids, the sun's coming out now. By the way, I can see it. And it's 75 degrees outside. So again, the severe thunderstorm warning for Sanilac County is in effect until 5:15 for 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail that could be up to nickel size. We'll go back over to velocity. And that, see, it's getting a little more defined, absolutely. Now, this is further away from the radar, so keep in mind the radar beam is hitting the cloud pretty far up. Pretty far, which can distort the information that we're getting. So it's important to note that this bullseye of wind is almost 4,000 feet in the air. See where it says 3.9 K feet? That stands for about 4,000 feet in the air. So we're talking like, what, 3/4 of a mile up in the air. Not necessarily translating down to the surface, but it could, and that possibility alone is why the severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. Now, if this stays on its current present track in a straight line, that would take it right into Port Sanilac. So we'll see, but right now my biggest concern would be for Port Sanilac. Again, it's not a guarantee, but you have the possibility for 60-mile-per-hour winds coming your way. Remember, this measured wind speed is almost 4,000 feet in the air. The radar beam, because of the curvature of the Earth, it just goes higher and higher the further away from the radar site it gets. So it's possible, not guaranteed. Otherwise, lots of thunder and lightning showing up. Storm relative velocity shows it even better. That's the red bullseye, but again, it's far up in the atmosphere, very far up in the atmosphere. And with storm relative velocity means it's basically taking away the motion of the storm. So if the storm's moving 35 miles per hour, it's like, yo, I'm going to hack 35 miles per hour off that then, and there you go. But otherwise, yes, we got a very intense, severe line of storms going through the eastern part of the thumb, and this will be all along the Lake Huron shoreline from Port Hope, Grindstone City, through Harbor Beach, Port Sanilac, Forestville, Forester Township, through Lexington, and then eventually into Port Huron as well. But Port Huron, you're going to be the absolute last to get this stuff. Meanwhile, in the Detroit Metro, talking like it's a storybook here. Meanwhile, Sterling Heights, you are clearing out, New Baltimore, and I want Mount Clemens to show up. There it is. I knew it was like right there. But anyway, most of the Detroit Metro is clearing out. It's really just this area up in the thumb that we're watching out for. Let's put a loop on it. I'm going to take another drink of pop because now my throat is actually starting to hurt. We've been on this live for like an hour and a half. But feel free to ask questions. I know I'm behind on TikTok because I can only see like 4 of your comments at a time. Sorry. The radar is called Radar Scope, and the cameras are, if you just Google Great Lakes Camera Network, that should bring you right to the cameras. There's Detroit and Royal Oak. Sometimes I think I'm reading these comments after I show you stuff, and I'm sorry. Hazel Park, you're good. So yeah, these are the storms moving through the Detroit Metro. Canada has severe thunderstorm warnings. You don't usually see that, do you? Because I have the Canada package, I guess, if you will. But Canada has severe thunderstorm warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in the thumb. And again, that Harbor Beach camera was cool. It looks like it's clearing out a little bit in Harbor Beach now. There you go, Facebookies. So like I said, that was a wall of rain, like a wall of water. Now see how you can see like the cloud, like bottom of the cloud and bottom of the lake and all that? Rain's clearing out, but wow, that was cool. That was cool. I love the weather. Right? Weird. I guess I'll be applying for more jobs tomorrow because it's like 4:30 already. All right. Hope everyone can see this Harbor Beach camera clearly because it is just cool. Super cool. I know Christina shows this. Christina Burkhart from ABC 12. We're still really good friends, by the way. And yeah, so there you go. Redford and Farmington Hills, you are good. Know that area is clearing out rather quickly. Logan, are you on both TikTok and Facebook? Because I just got asked that same question. I'm using Radar Scope and the cameras. If you just Google Great Lakes Camera Network, should take you to see those cameras. There used to be more of them. I'm not sure. And Forestville is also another town just up M25. Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure which one was a town. Oh, they're both towns. Okay. Thank you for that. When I'm driving through all those towns, you know, like when you see 9 or 10 of them in a row, it just starts, it's hard to keep them differentiated in my head. And, okay, we are scrolling up a little bit. Cool. Ooh, we got like a Twilight Zone effect there. Sorry about that. So again, this warning is still in effect. Let's take a look at velocity again. I want to keep an eye on that. Sorry, I went silent for a minute. I feel like I'm just talking a million miles an hour. So that little blob is fizzling out right now, which is good news. I think the storm is weakening as a whole, or it's fizzling out because the storm is collapsing and there is ground level winds going on now. I hope it is just fizzling out. But if the whole updraft of the storm is collapsing and the wind is rushing down to the ground, well, guess we'll just see. But either way, Port Sanilac and Forester, please be on the lookout for some very high winds. Great job. You've been live for 90 minutes. Awesome. At least I get a badge for that. Okay, I'm going to pause it. We're going to take a look at this velocity again. Yeah, I don't think a whole lot's happening here. Let's take a little, now we can take a little tour around. Gotta change radar sites though, so let's go to Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids radar site. We got those storms over Battle Creek still. These look like they're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, those storms are just hanging out. So Charlotte, Eaton Rapids, Olivet, anywhere in between. This is what we call training. Now imagine a train going down a track and you have multiple cars, right? Now imagine those railroad cars are thunderstorms. They go over the same spot, right? That's how you get a lot of rain. That's called training, and that's when you get some serious flooding possible. So Bellevue, Olivet, Charlotte, Eaton Rapids, especially west of Eaton Rapids, I would be on the lookout for some very heavy rainfall to continue, and that also goes for Battle Creek. Nashville as well. I think it might be just east of Mooville. Nope, Nashville's up there. My bad. Bellevue and Olivet are the ones that are close together. Nashville and Vermontville are the other ones that are close together. Okay, got it. Vermontville is gorgeous, by the way. They have that like historic opera house that's their library now. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful down there. And there's that little park with like flowers and green trees with like the old buildings. Check out Vermontville and Nashville sometime, you guys. Like, I'm not kidding when I say like if you pick a really nice sunny day and you drive through these towns that are kind of off the beaten path, you are not going to be disappointed. And I mean, like making a day out of it and stopping at the parks like along the rivers and like the restaurants, the locally owned restaurants, especially. Like seriously, I don't. Maybe I'm just a nerd, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I think the history is really cool. Like Lions, I didn't know that they just took out that dam like within the past decade. And they restored the rapids on the river up there. I thought that was super cool. And Lions Mirror, and there's like two little local restaurants up there. You can like walk down to the river and everything. It was gorgeous. It's like things that people post on like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. They're like, oh my god, like it's just me all to myself. Like just go do it. Like you don't need Instagram to tell you to go explore your county, right? I mean, so it's cool. I like doing it. I'm a nerd. I've been to so many small towns in Michigan. It's fun. It's really fun. Hi from Central Nebraska, Warren, Michigan, Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania, Warren, Michigan again. Thank you. So yeah, these storms are moving on through. Now they're right along the coastline here. They do look like they're weakening a bit. Sorry about my little rant about enjoying towns that are off the beaten path, but they're just really cool, you guys. So much history. And again, this is pretty much right along M25 now. They do appear to be weakening in reflectivity, so I can check the velocity one more time, but we might be about wrapping up now. And again, I'm not seeing anything concerning, but Forester and Port Saint Lac, just be on the lookout for some high winds coming through there. We also have just a lot of thunder and lightning around the southern part of Saint Lac County. Clearing out of the Detroit metro, though there are still some good winds coming on through. That'll be over toward Algonac, Marysville, Port Huron eventually. But otherwise, we're going on like well over an hour and a half. I'm talking a lot. I will be back on if anything else develops later, but as of right now, I think we can all just take a break. And aside from Sanilac County, everyone else is starting to see things clear out. St. Clair County, Port Huron, watch out a little bit. It's not severe right now, but some strong winds are still possible to come on through. Yeah, okay. Good show.